Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Ron and I are very happy to have a special guest tonight. Ron, who is our guest?
Matthew Boatman, the co-ed cross country coach.
That's
and
right.
middle school track coach.
Yep, middle school track and field.
Busy guy.
I try to. Better to be busy than bored.
That's right. You're right.
What do you do in your idle time, Matthew?
Idle time seems to be a bit non-existent these days, Fran. But whenever I do have a moment, I like to spend it with my daughter. She's 3 years old.
Great.
The light of my world.
Great. Cross country is different from track.
Correct. Yes. So cross country is going to focus on distance running. In the high school, at the high school level, they'll run a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. Track and field is going to have varying events, all the way from sprinting to the field events. So what I like to tell the kids is, if you are looking to be serious in cross country or in track, and you don't do anything in the fall, you're doing cross country.
So it's a fall sport.
Yep, fall sport, and normally it's cold come conference and sectional times,
Sure.
but we've been running at 90 degrees, 9 a.m. on Saturdays. It's been a hot one this year for sure.
5K, is that 5 miles?
It's 3.1 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been coaching. This is my first year coaching here at the high school. I ran cross country my entire life, dating all the way back to elementary school. So cross country and track and field have been a part of my life since I've been a very young kid.
How about past seasons? How have we been doing in these sports, cross country and track?
So for cross country, it has been a bit of a rebuilding year. I think we're experiencing this all across the spectrum of all of our sports. We're having a tough time getting athletes out. That's just what it is. Where kids are, for whatever reason, they're not coming out for athletics. So what I wanted to do last year was my first year as the middle school track coach. I knew how influential coaches and teachers can be whenever you're there in the building and able to be in the classroom. Shout out to Coach Snodgrass, who was one of my male mentors growing up. And he was always somebody I looked up to. You could walk by and be having a rough day, and he'll just give you a fist bump, say, "What's up, champ?" And those small things right there, it built me up as a young man, and I wanted to be able to provide that same type of experience to other athletes that may just need a positive male role model in their life.
Well, that's great that you have that attitude. That's wonderful. Cross country is run mostly with the campus of Connors of the CHS?
Our kids run throughout town, depending on the workouts. All of our meets are held at the high school, and most of the meets that we compete in will be held at other opposing high schools as well. And you just kind of, every course is different, and that's the beauty of it. You go to some courses, it's nice and flat, and then you go to a course like ours, which is ranked as probably top 10 hardest courses here.
Really?
And why is that?
The elevation changes.
Do you go through the woods between?
No, So I was actually, I got proposed the opportunity to redirect our course, kind of remap it. I didn't want to touch it this year. With it being my first year, I knew that I had other obstacles that I needed to accomplish as a first-year coach. I wanted to make sure that my full attention was with the kids and everything that they needed. But next year, we are looking to remap that course, and I do think that we will end up going through that little wooded section. Yeah. And the beauty of it's a double-edged sword, right? We want a challenging course. We don't want the kids to come and run PRs, and it's nice that people want to come to our invite for PRs, but I want people to come to our invite because it's a fun course. Right now, we just have a challenging course. It's not necessarily, you can have fun and challenging. And so next year, that's going to be my goal, is to figure out how we can use the beautiful campus that we have and maximize it. And so that's going to be my goal next year moving forward, so we can hopefully get some more people back to our invite. Unfortunately, we had to cancel this year due to the weather, the residual weather that we had from the hurricane. We had to cancel the invitational, so that was a bummer. But next year, I'm super excited. We're going to have a new course, new feel. It's going to be something nice.
Wow. So when you're talking about the athletes having a hard time getting athletes, does the Olympics especially the summer games, do they have a positive influence on kids? Hey, maybe I want to try that track and field meet.
Yes.
You know, for track, but also for the running aspect of it all. Too,
yeah, no, I definitely
country.
think any Olympic year, you're going to have a spike in the next 4 years of competitors. And I definitely think that is a direct cause and effect of everybody just watching, getting excited. You know, the thought of bringing home a gold medal.
Right.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. I wish I could.
Well, I actually injured my back. I'm in the middle of training. I'm very much a coach that I'm not going to tell you to do something unless I can do it myself. So last year it started. I hadn't competed in about 12 years. And I decided, you know, if I'm going to teach these kids, I need to be doing the motions too. So I competed in the USATF Masters National event. That was held in Chicago. So it's broken up into age divisions. Every 5 years is a new division. And I stepped out first time competing and took home silver at the national level. So that, you know, and I brought that back and I instantly seen a change in our kids. You know, I'm not just a coach that's going to point, yell, scream, blow my whistle. I'm out there on the track with you. I'm out there putting in the miles with you because I want you to see, hey, coach is pushing himself today. You can see it because I do. I'll push myself. And my goal every single time I step out there with those kids is to work harder than them. And I want their goal to be work harder than me.
That's good.
You know, iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. Give them something to reach for.
Exactly. Oh yeah, all the kids still think they can beat me. They can't. Not yet.
What teams do the Spartans compete against in cross country?
So for cross, we have a pretty broad array of schools. It's not so much, you will have certain invitationals that will do large school and small school and split those up, obviously make it a bit more fair. But for the most part, it's a pretty universal sport.
In the Connersville school or conference schools, is that who you compete against?
Yeah, we do run against our conference schools, but for example, on any given Saturday when we have an invitational, you're looking at, I'd say 15 to 20 different teams being present. So it is every Saturday, it's big meets, huge meets. You know, you have upwards of 300-400 kids lining up on the start line to take off.
At the same time?
Oh, it's something else to watch. It really is.
There's no staggered time?
No. If you guys haven't been out to a cross-country meet, I want to invite you guys right now. Come out. It's a rush. It really is. You know, you hear that starter gun go off, and then all of a sudden you see a stampede of student athletes storming down the start, and it is a sight to see.
So, and Fran, you've seen this before. When we see a marathon, it's like a mile before somebody gets to the. I'd be tired before you get to the starting line. Is it similar that way to a cross country?
No, not quite. So all of our starts, you have all the kids line up from all the schools, and there will be two different lines. You'll have a line that's like, I'd say 3 feet back, and then everybody starts on that.
Okay, so it's the same. Okay.
Yep, and then they say on your marks, and then everybody steps up to the line, and that right there will give you goosebumps. Watching, because a whole pack will just, and then everybody's locked in waiting for that guy.
So they're on their own individual.
Correct. Wow. Yeah, we have box assignments. Yep. So we would just show up. We'll get our flyer a couple days before, and we'll say, okay, we're in box 16 today, guys. So we'll go out. We always walk the course. I'll talk with the athletes. We talk about pass points, different choke points where I think it's going to get bottlenecked, and then certain areas where I think that we could end up getting some passing.
So there's a strategy.
Oh, it's that's what I tell. It's actually funny. I tell my kids that cross country is 10% cardio. It's 90% mental. So the psychology of a runner is a very interesting thing. Whenever you're running with a pack, you're more apt to run at a faster pace. If you get lost from that pack, a squirrel. It's going to happen like that. So I push staying with the pack. I push, 5 quick steps is what we call it. If I see uncomfortableness on their face, I'm asking them for 5 quick. I'm taking their mind off of it. I want them to get 5 quick strides in, and then I'll ask, hey, get me 2, and then I want them to get me 2 spots, because what I'm doing there is I'm playing with the psyche of the runner that I'm working with from our school, but also the other runners. And I wish well upon all runners. I don't want it to come across that I want them to lose, but It's a mental barrier whenever you feel like you've been giving it your all, and then all of a sudden this kid that you've been beating all year long just comes storming by you real quick. Yeah. It can check an athlete out real fast. And so the psychology of the 5K is truly an interesting topic to study within itself. Yeah, because you have to. You have 3.1 miles. You have to make sure your splits. You have to make sure your mile splits are where you want them to be, and not only that, but you also have to make sure that you're saving something for the kick, because another sight to see is that chute. You get all these runners that have already ran 3 miles, and then they're down to the last 100 meters, and they're gassing everything they have to get past that line. And it's an adrenaline rush for sure. Love to see a good chute finish.
But if you're on line 16 and let's say you're racing against somebody who's on line 3, does your finish line go up before line 3's?
Nope.
It's the same finish line?
So
you've actually ran longer.
Yeah. So that's the actual 3.1 is judged off of the center start line. So if you have 24 boxes, they'll take it from box 12 and run it out that way. So there are meets to where certain teams or us will get a competitive advantage, because you may start far left in the boxes and you have a hairpin left for the first turn.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's crucial. You know what I mean? If you're fighting from all the way outside, that's whenever we have to, again, the psychology comes into it. Hey, boys, hey, girls, I need you to dig. You have to dig. We can't get cut off here.
Just thought it was running, didn't you, Fran? Just thought it was running.
Does anyone that come out automatically make the team?
As of right now, yes. And any of my past experiences, yes, as well. Now, I know back whenever I was in school at Connersville, I was a varsity runner, but I was our last varsity runner. So top 5 score for varsity. Top 7 are typically still named varsity, because on any given day, any runner can be beat. And that goes for everybody. So you have 7 on the actual varsity roster. But we have JV races, reserve races, so we don't have any sort of tryouts or anything. It's open to everybody.
Goes without saying you have to enjoy running, but what else makes a good cross country?
So you have to be a little crazy, Fran. You have to have a couple screws loose.
You'd be great at it then, Fran.
All right. Do you hit the training room, the weight room at CHS?
Yes, we have been, and that is a big shout out to Coach Charlie from over at BAM Fitness. He's currently at the high school right now as our strength and conditioning coach, and we have utilized him a lot. And I've seen major improvements from these kids. It was something that we never did back whenever I was in school. But I think we're all just understanding that science is always changing. We're always learning new things about the body. And what we're learning now is that weightlifting isn't bad for cross-country runners. Before, it was thought, no, you're going to gain mass, you're going to slow yourself down. There are workouts in the weight room that can still benefit us, and we have been hitting those very heavy. Again, thanks to Coach Charlie, I cannot thank him enough for what he's doing for this community. It's vital. We needed his role at our school.
Yeah.
That's great that someone's close by that can do that for you.
Yeah, it's the biggest blessing that I could have asked for, especially coming up. Track and field a little more so on the strength and conditioning is where we're going to be using him, and I'm super excited for that. This will be our first year getting a full year of leverage with him, and I'm honestly excited to see what these middle schoolers can do this year at the track.
Without saying, I'm sure the team members appreciate him.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, immediately after the workout, no. He's public enemy number 1, because he doesn't let us slack, and that's what I love. He's pushing these kids. He's pushing our coaches, and it's all going to end up in one thing. And, me and him, we've actually been connecting quite closely, and I think we're on the same wavelength. At Connersville High School, winning a sectional should not be a goal. It should be an expectation. We are the Spartans.
Yes.
I grew up, and we win sectionals. That's what we do. And so that's what my whole thing is I'm looking to change the whole mindset of these young athletes, these young student athletes. And it's not necessarily that winning is everything, but it's about setting your mind to something and going out and doing all the small things right so we can get that big goal accomplished.
So you want them to come to the point where they expect to win.
That's right. Yeah, because anything less than a sectional championship is failure to launch in my eyes. It really is.
And that includes like training on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, because with cross country, I mean, you know, my buddy Jimmy Heisel, that dude, he'll run.
He's a runner.
He runs when it's 5 below 0.
Yes, he does. Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah, oh yeah, he runs all the guy doesn't stop.
No.
I think he gets 1,000 miles a year in. I think close to it. But so, and you encourage that, you know, kids just keep running.
Yeah.
One, it's good for your health.
Yep.
And two, it's good for the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, these athletes, they're coming in and we're putting in 320, 325 miles in the summer.
Wow.
So these kids are working all year long. It doesn't stop. And all these kids that I have in cross country, they're all in track as well. So it's a never-ending cycle. It's like, you know, it's the beauty and the beast. You know, if you want to be good at cross country or track, that's a year-long commitment.
So when cross country, I'm assuming cross country athletes, when you go to track, they're the distance runners, correct? Or are there any sprinters?
Yeah. So it's kind of situational, actually. So I have a freshman with me right now. His name's Lane Shook. He qualified for state last year as a mid-distance runner in track and field, his first year ever doing track. Athletes like him, I'm not the coach at the high school level, but I would prefer an athlete like him with that build, his characteristics. I would like to see him as a middle distance person, a 400 and 800 runner. Whenever you're talking track and field, you really have to come into play of where the points are going to fall. You only have so many athletes. Each athlete can only be in 4 events. So it becomes a Sudoku puzzle, for lack of better terms, of figuring out who's going to fit where. Like, I know you can get me points here, but we need the points here.
Right.
You know, so it varies. I will say on a general term, yes, your cross-country runners will go in. They'll be the miler, the 2-miler, but you will have your rare breeds that are off.
So they have a 1,600?
Yep.
Okay.
16 and a 32.
32,
for high school track. And we have a couple runners that Axel Flum and Arthur Struing, those are 2 leading runners right now on the boys program. They're going to come in and do great things for the track team again this year. Axel is an amazing 2-miler. Arthur kills the 1 mile. And again, it's all about finding their strengths and then finding their weaknesses.
And obviously, like you said, different type of running since you're running on a track versus hills and, you know, your terrain.
Yeah. You ask any of my cross-country kids, if I tell them to go run 2 miles on the track, I get disgusting looks. I can tell them to go run 6 miles free run. They're having the best day of their life.
They prefer that?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
wow.
yeah. Oh, cross-country kids hate the track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's a bit repetitive. Gets a bit mundane, especially at our level whenever you're running 5 to 7 miles for training and practices.
I forget how many laps I was on.
yeah, exactly. Again, that's the other thing. Yeah. It's like they're just sitting there counting laps, and it's like, well, 18 more to go.
Yeah, right, yeah. At least that's when they get to squirrel think about it. Yeah.
Exactly. They're seeing something new, something refreshing. It definitely helps the training regimen.
Absolutely.
We'll take a second here to review some of the scores that have been going on involving CHS sports. The boys' junior varsity soccer lost to Pendleton Heights 6-1. Boys' varsity tennis beat Franklin County 4-1, and girls' varsity soccer over Greensburg 3-1. Boys' JV soccer over Batesville 3-0. The boys' varsity soccer over Batesville 2-1. Girls varsity soccer lost to Franklin County 4-0. Boys JV soccer lost to Talawanda 4-2. Matthew, speaking of the tennis, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, tennis is doing fantastic. I got a couple students that I've just kind of connected with, and they've been sharing the triumphs of the season.
They won the sectional,
me, and we took home the sectional.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Huge.
Regional next.
Regionals up next. I believe they compete tomorrow. We'll head out. They actually get to leave school a little early. One of the benefits of getting to go to regionals. So they'll be taking off to regionals, and I wish them and Coach Bloom nothing but the best.
They've had a great season so far. I hope it continues. Sports this week, JV and varsity volleyball is home with Waldron on Monday. JV football will be at East Central at 6. Boys varsity soccer will be at Rushville at 5:30. On Tuesday, boys varsity tennis regional at Center Grove starts at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. JV and varsity volleyball at Rushville beginning at 5:30. Wednesday's schedule shows girls varsity soccer sectionals at Batesville. That starts at 5. Those young ladies, the best.
Yeah, exactly. Looking another team that's looking solid. Both of our soccer programs are looking really good.
Yes,
really
boys
good.
and
I'm
girls.
excited about it.
Right. I hope we wish them the best of luck. Boys varsity soccer in the sectionals at Rushville. That starts at 5:30 on Wednesday afternoon. On Thursday, girls varsity soccer sectional continues at Batesville. That's at 5 o'clock in the late afternoon. JV and varsity volleyball at Nicetown begins at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. On Friday, varsity football will be at Lawrenceburg at 7 o'clock. On Saturday at 7 p.m. On Saturday, JV volleyball EIAC tournament. That'll be at the Fieldhouse here in Connersville starting at 9 in the morning. Cross country will be away at the EIAC meet, and that'll be meeting at 10 o'clock. Girls varsity soccer sectional championship begins at 2 o'clock at Batesville. Boys varsity soccer sectional continues at Rushville. That's at 7 o'clock in the evening. From football scores, Centerville is 6-1 on the season. They won over Union County by a 61-8 score. Centerville will be at Union City this Friday. Cambridge City is 1-6. They lost 38-3 to Westdale. Union County is 0-7 after their loss to Centerville. They play Hauser on Friday. Richmond is 0-7. They lost 47-29 to Kokomo. They'll be at Anderson on Friday evening. Lawrenceburg is 6-1. They won over Rushville 4-3. And 38-6 was the score. Their record is 4-3. Franklin County is 4-3. They won over South Dearborn 41-7. Batesville is 5-2 over Greensburg 0-7. They're 65-16 was that score. East Central is 5-2. They won over the Spartans 2-5. That final score was 62-6. Struggling, aren't they, the Spartans?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of challenging and tough opponents, though. These kids are going out and they're giving it their all.
Tough schedule, that conference.
Yeah. I think that's really what it's amounting to. Because we're out there running for cross country, and I get to talk with the coaches, I get to talk with the players, and I see them all out there. They're putting in the work. I think this is one of those things of we're going to see that the seed has been planted, and then we just have to continue to nurture it, and we'll get to where we want to be.
These young guys try hard. They don't want to lose; they want to win.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And they put in a lot of practice, a lot of time practicing.
Oh yeah.
So it'll turn around one of these days, won't it?
That's right. I got full faith.
I'm sure it will. But yeah, that's a tough sport. But we have a tough conference, don't we?
Yeah. Very, very tough conference this year for sure.
Do you cross country go into the conference much, or do you meet all the?
Yeah. So we we get a run against all of our members of the EIAC.
Okay.
And then this Saturday will be our conference meet, to where we're looking to get a couple all conference runners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are some of your top runners?
Yeah, so on the guys' side, we are led by Axel Flum and Arthur Struing, closely behind Hunter Bales. And then I have a couple freshmen as well, Lane Shook and Eric Evans, and Colton Hammonds, that are all putting in great work. On the girls' side, we are led by our one and only senior on both sides of the program, Charlotte Latham. This girl came in and just started putting in work. She's played soccer her past. This is her first year doing high school cross country.
So she's used to running a lot.
Yeah, she's used to running a lot, which was great. And we've came in and we've seen her get PRs of a minute plus at a time. So she's really starting to come into her own. Yeah. I would have loved to been able to have her for all 4 years, because I think we could have really developed her into a serious competing runner. Wow. But I'm just blessed and thankful for the opportunity that I had a chance to share a season with her.
Your first?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Who helps you, Matthew, in your coaching?
Right now it is just me. Yeah, I am.
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah. At the middle school level, whenever we shift gears to track, I have my best friend, my brother, Malik Coles. He helps me with
Good.
the track program along with Ryan Fields. And together, us three we have our eyes aimed on a state title this year for middle school track.
Oh.
And anything less than that is a learning opportunity for us.
That's a great thing to look forward to.
Yeah. I'm on all fronts for all of our athletics. This group of 7th and 8th graders that we have down at the middle school right now, they are truly talented. We are starting to see those one-off athletes, except for they're not one-off now. There's 3 or 4 of them in each of these classes, and they're just studs. They're superstars.
Good.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing not only what our cross-country program can do here in the next couple of years, but also what the rest of our program can do at Connersville.
Looks good with just one senior, is all you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and it's on the girls' side. So our boys team is going to be coming back even stronger next year. We have a 7th grader right now. His name's Mason. He just won conference for middle school at cross country, and this kid keeps at it and keeps his grades right, keeps his head on straight, and Mason's going to go down as one of the best cross-country runners that we're going to have at this program. He's in 7th right now. Yeah, so we got 2 years, and then he's going to be up. And then that's going to give my freshmen that I have now, it's going to give them time to develop and become the leaders that I know they can be.
So as a coach, when you see the 7th and 8th graders, obviously they still got a lot of growing to do physically, mentally, and then you're going to see their strengths coming up to where, you probably be better at this sport as you get older.
Yep.
Are you starting to see, you said that you see some kids that, more than 1 off, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You start to see where, hey, I think this kid might be better off in this, try to tease it a little bit to, hey, try this sport now.
Yeah,
just to see.
And that's the tough conversation that you have to have with athletes and parents.
Yeah.
For example, I just had a talk with one of the cross-country runners on the middle school level, and I was like, hey, he's doing track, right? I was like, well, he plays baseball. I said, is he batting .450? Is he striking out every person that steps up to the plate? Because if not, he's a track athlete. Like I hate to say it, but I've seen athletes. I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah.
My uncle is certified all the way up to the Olympic level as a coach. So I was following his footsteps at Western Kentucky University whenever he was coaching over there for track and field.
Yeah.
I was soaking it all in like a sponge. I've got to go on recruiting trips. I've got to see what an athlete looks like at the middle school level, and then I've got to watch them grow up and how they've transitioned through.
Right.
And it's not me wanting kids to only do cross country and track, because if anybody knows me, they will know that I'm a huge fan of doing 3 sports.
Right.
I don't care what 3 sports it is, but do it. Be active, be a tri-sport athlete, focus on your grades, be respectful at home, and you're going to go places.
Yeah.
You mentioned grades. That's important.
Yes, that is number 1 in my eyes.
Yes.
Because like I said, I did sports. I was a tri-sport athlete growing up, my entire high school career. One day, Fran, these sports end. Mm-hmm. What doesn't stop ending is the knowledge and learning. Yeah. And so that is one of the big things that I push is grades. That's number 1 for me.
Well, it sounds like you know what's going on.
I fake it good enough to fool everybody, huh?
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Michael, it's been a pleasure meeting you, and best of luck to all the youngsters that you touch and coach in the various sports.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Matthew.
Thanks, everybody, for watching tonight, this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Hope you have a nice evening.